ISUPK.
This is the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. Started at 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And we're the ISUPK, man, the home of the truth. So everything we tell you is true, man. We're the priests and the prophets, man. Now give me Psalms chapter 137 and verse 1. So now we're in the Bible. I go forward, just going backwards. So now we're in the Bible, man. The book of Psalms chapter 137 and verse 1. We read and prophesy out of the Bible, man. Also, if you got any questions, you can ask them. So now, we're going to go into Psalms chapter 137 and verse 1. Psalms 137, verse 1. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Don't this sound familiar? Listen, man. Black people's been singing this song for years, man. We've been singing this song for years. By the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down, man. Why do we sing that? Why? Because we was due to go into captivity, and we're in captivity. So this is one of the captivity songs that we'll sing and read on. Come on. Yeah, we wept. Hold on, we did what? We wept. And we wept, man. Why did we weep? Because we was leaving our homeland, man, to go into somebody else's land, to go and pick cotton and cut cane and be a good slave, man. We wept. Why? The reason we cried is because we knew this life wasn't for us, man. We knew this life weren't for us, and so forth. Come on now. So we knew that this life wasn't for us, so we wept. Obviously, when you weep, what do? You cry, and you cry why? Because you're upset, man. We was upset that we was going to go into captivity. Read on.
We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For they that carried us away captive.
For what?
For they that carried us away captive.
For what?
For they that carried us away captive.
And there's a nation which carried us away captive, man. Carried us away in shackles and chains. It says we wept, and it says for they that carried us away captive. Read on.
Required of us a song.
Hold on, they did what?
Required of us a song.
And they required of us a song, man. They had us on slave ships, and they required a song and a dance. In order for us to keep fit, they required us to sing and dance, man. You had to entertain them on them slave ships. You had to sing and dance, and that was their way of you getting in some exercise, man. Read on.
And they that wasted us.
And they that what?
That wasted us.
These other nations wasted us, man. That's what they do to blacks and Hispanics. They waste us. They carried us away captive and wasted us, man. Murdered us and slaughtered us.
Right. Required of us, man. Saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion.
And they tell us to sing them one of the songs of Zion, man. They tell us, sing to them and entertain them. And now we've become their entertainers, man. Right. We've become clowns for them, man. We sing and dance for them. When in the beginning that wasn't so. Read on.
Right. How shall we sing the Lord's song?
How shall we what?
Sing the Lord's song in a strange land.
How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land, man? How can we be comfortable in a strange land? How have we become comfortable with every day waking up and going to your job 9 to 5? How have we become comfortable with living at the bottom of society? How have we become comfortable with being everybody's stepping stone, man? We've been everybody's stepping stone in this place. We've been a stepping stone for the Irish, man. We've been a stepping stone for the East Indians. We've been a stepping stone for all these nations, man. They come lowly and say, you know what? We in the ghetto just like you. We're going through the same things, and then you fall for it, and then what happens? They get a bit of money and they leave you behind, man. No nation has never helped blacks and Hispanics, man. Not one. Read on.
If I forget thee, O Jerusalem,
read that verse.
how shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem.
If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, man. Listen, man, we should never forget where we're coming from and who we are. We should never be happy to be called Black British, man. We should never be happy being called English, man. We more than that, man. We're the Israelites, the Lord's chosen people. That's who we are, man. Read 2 verses.
For they that carried us away captive required of us a song. And
Give me Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. Now I'm going to show you your slavery in the Bible, man. Now, I'm going to show you that cargo slave ships is in the Bible. I'm going to show you that the way you got into captivity is in the Bible, man. And then afterwards, I'll show you it from history also. Just so you know we ain't lying, man. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
Now you're going to come on a plane like the Afghan?
With ships.
Now you're going to come on a plane like the Afghans?
With ships.
Now you're going to come on a plane like the Nigerians and come freely? Right. You're gonna migrate freely because England's a better land? You're going to come here out
with ships.
We didn't come here no nice way. We came here with ships, man. Right. We came here on cargo slave ships. Right. We came here shackled in chains, man. That's how we came here. Now, if you wouldn't eat, they would force feed you, man. They would force feed you with a thing called a speculum aurum, man, where they would push a piece of metal in your mouth and open up your jaw, man, and feed you slop and all them things. You was on them slave ships, you had to sing, you had to dance, you was shackled, you was whipped, you was abused, man. And your slavery is in the Bible, read on. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt. Egypt is a Greek word for bondage, man, meaning for slavery. And black man, that's how you ended up in the Caribbean. You didn't go there on a cruise. You didn't go there freely. You didn't go there because, you know, you seen some land and thought it would be nice to go and travel. You didn't go there that way, man. How did we get to the Caribbean and then to England, read? And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. That's out of the Bible, man, letting you know slave ships is written off in the Bible, man. That's how we came to the Caribbean with ships to serve hard bondage. Read on. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. He was going to see our homeland no more again, man. Right. So much that now you don't even know that the land of Israel belonged to you, man. Right. So much that you don't know Saudi Arabia and Palestine and all those places is your land, man. Right. You don't even know those lands belong to you. So now you're fighting over Handsworth, man. You're fighting over Brixton. You're fighting over Peckham. You're fighting over these little areas, man. Not realizing all the Middle East belonged to you originally. Right. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. And what? And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. And then after you came off them cargo slave ships, on them ships they would oil you up, man. They would oil you up. They would plug you behind. So the next the slave owner that's gonna buy you didn't know that you was infected with all sorts of things. They would patch you up, man. Same like how people patch up cars and they sell the cars. They sold you how to sell cars, man. They beat you and sold you once you came off that slave ship, patched you up, oiled you up so you looked the part, so your skin wasn't pale from the little bit of water you had. Do you know that when you was on that slave ship, you was just fed like a spoon of water? You would get like 3 spoons of water a day, man. Right. That's the part that they don't tell you. Now the people that carried you away captive, now they want to smile in your face and tell you forget about the past. Right. We can't forget about that man. Right. We read the history every day. We can't forget about that. Right. Read on. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemy. Sold to your friends. Unto your enemy. Sold to your friends. Unto your enemy. Listen, man, the British ain't our friends, man. Right. The Bible calls the British our enemies, man. Right. The Bible calls the French our enemies, man. Right. The Bible calls the Dutch our enemies, man. Because a friend wouldn't shackle you and put you on a cargo slave ship, man. Read on. Right. For bondmen. For what? For bondmen. Listen, man, a bondman is a man that's a slave, man. We were sold for slaves. Understand this, your children was also sold for slaves, man. Your sons and your daughters. Now, a friend wouldn't do that to you, man. A friend wouldn't do those things. And the Bible says, ye shall be sold unto your enemies. Go back up to that part. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. And listen, man, they sold you based off your race, man. They didn't sell their own race. They sold you based off your race, man. Right. They looked at the black man and said, well, damn, these niggas is inferior. Let's take them and they can make us millionaires. They can make us rich. And all the wealth that they have is off of you being enslaved, man. Right. And what you're so poor is because when you was in slavery, they didn't give you a penny or a dime, man. They abolished slavery. And who got paid? Did the slaves get paid? No, they didn't, man. The slave master got paid.
Right.
The slave master got paid, and you didn't get a damn thing. But Salaki and Shamgar, pass me that book in there called The Zong. Now we're gonna go into a book, man. It's nice, that one right there, the right. So we're gonna go into a book. Give me page 97. So now we're gonna link up history with the Bible, man. Now we're gonna show you some of the conditions on them slave ships out of a history book called The Zong. Now we showed you slave ships is in the Bible. So now let's go into this history book. Read the highlights.
There were now an estimated 380 Africans on board.
Now we know those Israelites, but obviously this devil likes to lie to you and tells you that you're African.
Right.
We ain't no Africans, man.
Right.
We lived amongst them. We fled into Africa to hide amongst what? The dark-skinned races, man. When we was running from Roman persecution, so we fled into Africa, and guess what? We thought the Africans was our friends, man.
Right.
And what did the Africans do? They rounded us up and sold us, man.
That's right.
These Africans rounded us up and sold us. They sold us for handkerchiefs, man. They said a nigga's life is worth less than a handkerchief, man.
Right.
They said our life is worth less than muskets and so forth, man. Read on.
Many of whom were sick.
Many of whom were what?
Were sick.
We was on them slave ships and we was sick. Why? Because understand this, they treated you like an animal, man.
Right.
They treated you like an animal and they didn't care that you were sick. They didn't care that you had influenza and the runs and all of those things. They didn't care about that. They just looked at you and said, we can make money, man. They didn't care if you lived or died, man. They just looked at you as money and as commodity. Read on.
That's right. It was at this point, on any slave voyage, only days from landing, that the ship's doctor and crew were usually busy preparing Africans for sale.
They were busy doing what?
Preparing Africans for sale.
So you were sick the whole time on the ships. Them doctors on the ships didn't care, man, except when you was about to land. Why? Because they was preparing you for sale, man. Understand this? The oppressor only cares about you when he can make money off you, man.
Right.
He only cares about, if you can't make money off you, he don't care if you cut dead, man.
Right. Washing and cleaning the captive, oiling their skin to give it.
Hold on, just doing what?
Oiling their skin to give it a less sickly color.
And they oiled your skin to give it a less sickly pallor, man. Because why? They wanted to sell you. Because if you look sick, now the next man that was going to buy you, he would say, yo, he ain't worth that much. So they would oil you up, make you look the part, and then sell a sick black man to go pick cotton, man.
Right. The most wretched, afflicted with dysentery.
So hold on, those afflicted with what?
With dysentery.
Listen, man, we was sick while we was on them slave ships. And not once did our oppressor say, you know what? They're sick. We've treated them bad. Let's just free them. Never once did they say that, man. Right. They didn't even want you free in the 1800s, man. You ain't even free in 2021, man. Right. You're still a slave today, man. Working minimum wage, believing that you're going to accomplish something, believing that you're going to make it out of this place one day. It's not going to happen, man. I'm sorry to ruin the British dream, but it's never going to happen, man.
Right.
We here serving us our captivity, man. We here as slaves, man. Read on.
The most wretched, afflicted with dysentery, were bunged up with oakum and
what?
Were bunged up with oakum and cotton.
And what they would do, they'd put oakum and cotton up you behind, man. Because they didn't want this man to know you had the runs and you was just leaking. So they would bung you up with oakum and cotton, man. That's what the oppressor done to you, man. Before you call him your friends, just remember all these things is done to you, man. If he's your friend after this, I don't know. Listen, Lord be with you, man, but read.
The Africans had to be scrubbed and smartened, and the blemishes of sickness and trauma disguised.
And they tried to hide the blemishes of sickness and trauma. Now today, they tried to hide your blemishes and your trauma with what? Job seekers allowance. They tried to hide your trauma with these little bones that they throw you, man. With these little freebies that they give you. With these little council houses they give you. That makes you say, oh wow, this man ain't that bad. He gave us a house. He tries to hide it with all them things that I read on.
To make them as attractive and valuable.
To make them what?
As attractive and valuable.
And they tried to make you attractive and more valuable because they was going to sell you to a slave owner. Read on.
As possible to would-be purchasers.
And listen, man, understand this. Every white man you see is a would-be purchaser, man. He ain't your friend. He is a would-be purchaser. He would buy you and put you on this cotton field tomorrow, man. He would put you on this cotton field today. He looks at your race as inferior. He looks at your race as nothing and as garbage. Read on.
On 29th of November, with the Zong still far to the west of Jamaica, the crew, now numbering only 11 men, were assembled and asked what they thought of the suggestion that faced the water
that faced with the water crisis.
So now there was a water crisis on this slave ship. Why? Because the navigator that was driving the ship missed. He was meant to stop off in the Caribbean, and he drove past it because he's dumb and can't navigate his system properly. Read it.
Right.
And then guess what? It became our fault, man. This sailor couldn't navigate the ship, and it became our problem. Right. Same like everything else becomes our problem, man. Same like the Afghans coming over is going to become our problem, man. Right. Every other nation's mess-ups becomes our problem, man. Right. Every single one. Read on. They're always looking for somebody to blame. And guess who the blame's always with? Black people, man. Right. Read on.
Faced with the water crisis, part of the slaves should be destroyed to save the rest.
Hold on, this is part of the what?
Part of the slaves should be destroyed to save the rest.
Listen, man. You see how you write off a car? They wrote off black people the same way, man. Right. They treated you like a car, man. You see when a car's, you just write it off because you can get more money back if you just do an insurance scam. They done an insurance scam on black people, man. Right. They used us and done an insurance scam on us. Read on.
To save the rest and the remainder of the slaves and the crew to put to short allowance. No one on board objected to the suggestion.
Hold on, no one what?
No one on board objected to the suggestion.
None of our oppressors objected to the suggestion, man. None of these good Christians said we can't kill them because, God is against murder. They didn't say that. Murdering black people, they don't even see it as breaking any laws, man. They can murder you and who cares? It's like killing a fly, man. It's like killing a roach when they kill black people. And this is why you drop dead in the streets and are murdered and nobody cares. Because who cares about a black man's life, man? Guess what? Jesus Christ cares about a black man's life, man. So much that he gave his life for black man's life, man. Guess what? Your oppressor would never do that, man. This devil would never do that, man. We need to stop looking for them to save us because they ain't never going to save us. How are you looking for the same man to save you? Meanwhile, it's the same man that's harming you, man. Meanwhile, this is the same man is the reasons for all your problems, man. Do you want to know why we're on drugs? Because of the white man, man. Do you want to know why we're alcoholics? Because of the white man, man. Do you know why we're abusive to our loved ones? Because of the oppressor, man. Here's the problem for all these situations in our life, man. We tend to blame each other, not realizing there's one problem in the way of everything we do. Our oppressor, man. We wake up in the morning on the wrong side of the bed. Who should you blame? The oppressor, man. You're late for work and you're oppressed. Blame who? The oppressor, man. You're having a bad day. Blame who? The oppressor, man. Stop blaming yourself. Blame the oppressor for everything, man. You stop, you turn the side of the bed. It's the oppressor's fault, man. Blame him for everything, man. Read on.
No one on board objected to the suggestion that they kill some of the slaves.
No one objected to what?
To the suggestion that they kill some of the slaves.
No one objected to the suggestion that they kill some of the slaves. Like we said, killing a black man was just normal, man. It was like a sport, it was like a game.
And they set about the murderous work immediately.
Hold on, they did what?
They set about the murderous work immediately.
Hold on, I thought this man loves everybody and doesn't harm a fly. What did that say?
They set about the murderous work.
They set about the murderous work, man. This is one of their scholars writing this in the book, man. We didn't write this book. This is one of their scholars that said they set about their murderous works immediately. Read on.
At 8 p.m. that same evening, 54 women and children were pushed overboard.
Hold on, they did what?
54 women and children were pushed overboard.
They killed 54 women and children. They threw them off the slave ships, man. 54 women and children were killed. Just imagine this. That's your child right there being thrown off a slave ship in front of your eyes, man. That's your wife being thrown off a slave ship in front of your eyes. And you tell me we should love the oppressor. Listen, man. They didn't love us right here when they killed our children in front of our eyes, man. Don't give me all of this love talk. Don't give me all of this with spreading hate speech. Because what we're reading right now, that's hate, man. For you to kill children and women, man. Defenseless women and children, they threw them.
Nobody tell you cry. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. And it works out.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, sold packs, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues for this guitar smoke. rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good wreck. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good ship. Plus when you in hell, how do you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain, something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two-edged